Hi everybody, welcome to School of Scarlet. Today I have another message for you. So today's message is a powerful message. It's also a message that's going to really help you to really get ahead of 99% of others. So what do I mean by that? So many of us are making decisions based on fear, and that is causing things to really get really chaotic in our lives. It's also causing for a lot of things like impulse decisions to happen and kind of like this snowball effect of more things happening. So I'm going to be talking about that here today, and I'm going to be sharing with you a story that came through today about this. So I want to start by sharing that story with you, and then we'll talk a little bit about how this is something that you can apply to your own life and really make a big difference in how you function and the things that appear in your reality. Okay, so I want to share a story with you, kind of taking you back to my times as a teacher. There was a time that I was a kindergarten teacher, and when I was this kindergarten teacher, I think it was closer to like the beginning of the school year. And so, this whole thing, we had an emergency happen. That's what happened. So what ended up happening was that I was teaching, and I was already building rapport with the children, and it was really nice. As a kindergarten teacher, I also had a teacher's assistant in the classroom. And so that was nice as well. So one day we were just doing, our usual things in the classroom when we hear an alarm go off. And we don't know really what the alarm is, as we're kind of closer to the beginning of the school year. And they kind of preface it that we need to go out and kind of take it as a fire drill. So what we ended up doing was gathering all the students up. I lined all the kids up, and I was at the front of the line, and my teacher's assistant was at the back of the line. Now, mind you, these are kindergarten students, so we kind of have to herd them, make sure that everybody gets to the same place safely and everyone is accounted for. So I got them all lined up, and we began to walk out to the lawn. And when we got there, the students were, wondering what we were doing. And, we had practiced, or at least talked about the fire drills. And so the students were like, what are we doing? Why are we out here? What's going on? And so I let the students know that we were just practicing this fire drill, that we were called to go outside to stand on the line, and I needed to count everybody. And so everybody let me count them, and everything was, good. I still didn't know what was going on at the time. So that's where we were at with that. And suddenly we get notice, kind of teacher by teacher, someone came by and kind of let us know that there was a gas leak nearby further down the road from the school, but that it could, it wasn't safe for us to stay in the school any longer. So what we were having to do was to load up a bus, and we were going to be taken to another school. And it was already kind of the end of the day, but either way, the kids were going to be picked up by their parents because we were not going to be able to come back to the school that day. So that's how we were kind of informed. I think like another teacher came by and told me that, then they told my teacher's assistant, and it kind of just trickled down. And if you notice, no one really told the children that. It wasn't like this big old announcement about what was going on. The teachers were told the information. So suddenly the buses pull up, and the students, are really confused at this point, because now suddenly we're getting on a bus. And so the students asked me, why is the bus here? What is going on? And so, I let them know that we were going to take this cool bus ride. Most of them hadn't been on a bus before. They were kindergartners, so they were excited to get on the bus. I let them know we're going to take a bus ride to another school where their mom or dad was going to pick them up, and they were going to go home for that day. So they were really excited. They were excited to go on the bus. I let them know of the rules of the bus. They were on board with it. They were excited that they were going to be going home, and that their parents were going to come and get them. And so everything was good. We were, we were getting onto the bus, and I think we had loaded all of the students onto the bus when suddenly I look back, and my teacher's assistant is crying, and she's just bawling, and the students are all looking at her, and they're scared. Suddenly some of them begin to cry, and they're asking me what is going on. And so I go over to my teacher's assistant, I take her aside, and I ask her what is going on. And so she lets me know that she can't get a hold of her brother. Mind you, we weren't really supposed to have our cell phones. We weren't really supposed to be doing any of that, but somehow she had been trying to contact her brother. And she was saying she couldn't get a hold of her brother. She didn't know if he was safe, where he was at. And I let her know that right now we are going to the other school with these students, and we really need to focus on getting them there safely, and kind of, making sure that they are okay. And right now they are scared. So I have the window open. I'm sorry, y'all. I think there's a plane going over. But anyhow, so we are going, to the other school and everything was fine. But now all of a sudden, I think little by little, the majority of the class started crying. And I began to let them know that everything is okay, that, our assistant here, that she, is scared about something, but it has nothing to do with them. And so it was still kind of hard to get them to calm down. The bus ride was less than 5 minutes. We went to another school that wasn't that far away. And as we got off the bus, by the time we were getting off that bus, people had already been calling the parents, or they had gotten notice somehow through their text message service, and they were already waiting for their kids. So we get off the bus, and then we get into the kind of like this holding area of the school where the kids are going to be picked up from. One by one, my kids start to get picked up, and I let them know, I see it was all okay. We were just going to another school where you were going to be picked up, where it's safe for you to go home with your parent. And they were then happy because they got to see their parent. They got to see that everything turned out that way. And so by the time their parent actually came and picked them up, they were calm. And those that weren't calm, just kind of explained what had happened. But anyhow, they were able to be calmed down at that point. But this is a story just to show you what happens when we go into our mind, when we go into our smaller self and involve ourselves in fear, anxieties, thinking ahead of things that aren't actually happening at this moment. So it's very important to stay in the moment, and to get ahead of 99% of others, we have to remain calm. If we don't remain calm and present in this moment, everything goes to chaos. Everything goes to crap. Okay, so what does that mean? We start to see people breaking down, crying, a spiral effect of things happening, lots of things can really happen when we lose control of our emotions. And so this is a video really to let you know that one of the main things that we can do is to stay calm. When we are the calmest person in the room, we are actually the most powerful person in the room. So any multitude of situations can happen in our lives. We could have a breakup, relationship problems. That happens. It happens to everyone. Yes, it feels very emotional. It's a lot, but it happens to us all. And it is something that we will get past and we will learn from. There could be a job loss. Yes, it is very terrifying to lose our job. And it's, when we first go through this kind of thing, it does feel very emotional, but we all go through a job loss at some point in our life, and we get through it. We get past it and we grow. We all go through, unfortunately, losing someone in our life, and it is very tragic, and it can feel that way. But we see the other side of that. We begin to grow from that as well. There's so many things that can happen in our lives. There's accidents. There's, unexpected things that happen, like that gas leak, or a multitude of things that can happen where we can feel out of control and we can feel emotional. But if we can remain calm and center back into this moment and really check to see what is actually true and happening in this moment, then we can regain our power. We can regain our peace, and we are 99% ahead of others, because most others are totally off in their emotions. And their emotions are taking them to places of fear most of the time. And those places of fear are actually things that aren't even happening, or they're being expanded, or, they're being magnified in a way that isn't true to the reality of what is happening now. If we really look at our situation, we are always going to be okay. But that is something that you'll have to realize through going through all of these things. But I'm basically giving you a cheat code to let you know that no matter what happens in your life, it is actually growing you. It is actually expanding you. There are reasons these things are happening, and we can't always understand them. Some things could be very hard to understand, but hindsight is 2020. And there are things that I've gone through that are extremely hard, and they were, unimaginable at the time. They could be unexplainable at the time. But hindsight showed me how that experience was exactly what I needed for whatever it was my next step. And I could only see that now. If we could really live our life backwards, we could really understand a lot of things, and we wouldn't have this fear-based mentality. So I'm just letting you know that you can feel safe in this reality. Just remain calm and check in to see what is true and what is not true. Especially like that story about the gas leak thing. what I was telling the kids was not a lie. Those were the actual things that were happening. We're not trying to become, an ostrich in the sand with our head in the sand, or deny reality, or, be passive. That's not what this is about. This is about really being in this moment and taking reality as it is. And so when we see it as it is, we can have more clarity. But when we begin to imagine, where is our brother? What is happening? Something horrible has happened to him. We don't know that. We just know that he isn't able to get, we're not able to get a hold of him at the moment. But that doesn't mean anything further. We don't have to take it to that other place. And oftentimes we hear of these things like that we can even, what we fear we create, that sort of thing, And it is true. We are that powerful that we can create things in our life that weren't even going to happen when we are so focused on them as if they are truly happening. That's how powerful you truly are. So you can be just as powerful when you remain calm. When you remain calm, you can bring calm to everyone around you. And just like those students were in the beginning, they can be calm. They can be calm because they feel the energy that it is okay. So it is your job as the driver in your seat, the driver in your own reality, to remain calm in all situations. And as you do that, you will begin to see the benefits of that. You'll begin to really see how this really benefits you. So think about people like doctors. They come into a lot of situations where it's, really tough. There are situations where they almost can know that the person is in a really bad state, in physical state, their health, but they are always strong. They always come in a way that, they are not creating fear for the patient. They are being strong because that is what is needed. And if you truly are connected to this calmness, the calmness is actually you connecting to your highest self, because you know that at all times you are creating a reality that is expanding you. That is, everything is in control. There is nothing happening outside of this, in this world, outside of this world, anywhere in your reality that is not been approved by God, not been okay to happen. Everything that is happening is totally okay. We think that, why did this happen? There are some very, hard things to come, to terms with, but we can remain calm and we can move past those things and we can learn from them. And if they were very tragic things or whatever, we can learn from that. We're always learning. Everything is always communicating something to us so that we can grow and expand in different ways and even help others. So what's coming to mind right now is a Bible verse that is, be still and know that I am God. I believe it's Psalm something, 46:10 or something to that effect. Comment down below if you know what it is. But whenever you're in this situation, remember that verse, be still and know that I am God. It's a very powerful verse. There was a time when Jesus was in a boat and it was, there was a storm and his disciples were very scared. And so they woke him up, to tell him they were scared. And Jesus woke up and it was still a storm. But what did he say? The only thing he said was, peace, be still. And everything began to calm. That is the power that you should have. Now, it might sound crazy to some. It might sound like, I'm not Jesus. I'm not like that. You have immense power within you. And when you tap into that, you will be able to create these things of calm. You'll be able to tap into calmness because you are connected to the greater power within. And the greater power within has no fear, is not scared, knows that it can overcome anything. You are an overcomer. So if you register this, if you understand this message, if you pick up on this code right now, you are 99% ahead of most people, because most people are riddled by fear. They hear this on the news and they go into a depression. They hear this on the news and they have an anxiety attack. They hear this on the news and they shelter in place, or they're frozen, they paralyze. There are so many situations that I see on a daily basis with people that I know that this is just happening all of the time because they're tapping into their emotions and they're believing the fear, the negative thought forms that are coming through their mind. Those negative thought forms, or if you're hearing or you have thoughts in your mind telling you the worst case scenario, ignore those things. Those things are not true. Those things just come through like any old thought, but you don't have to believe them. Believe the truth of who you are, that you have the greatness within, and that you are an overcomer, and there is nothing in this life that will ever dismantle you, that will ever take you down in a way that you cannot recover from. Look at your own life and how much of an overcomer you have been to this date, how much you have already overcome, how you have already risen up past so many things in your life. That is who you truly are. And life will show you this till one point you'll actually register it and it'll click. But if you're watching this video now, you can go ahead and start living from this space right now. So I hope that that's what you'll do. I hope that this message resonated with you. If it did, give me a thumbs up, a heart, comment down below. If you are new here, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button and come back, because I'm putting out daily messages, and I would really love to have you to come back to this channel. And I'm also offering a course right now. It's the intuition course. So if you're wanting to get tapped in to your intuition, which is totally the opposite of fear, if you have been fear-based all of this time, the opposite of that is tapping into your intuition. Your intuition is trust. You have to trust your innermost knowing. And so if you're wanting to go towards that and get out of that fear-based living, you're going to want to join this intuition course. In the intuition course, you can go ahead and sign up now. I have that link down below in my comment section and in my description. So I encourage you, I invite you to be part of this and come alongside with me as we explore intuition and get you aligned to living through intuition rather than fear. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. I will catch you on our next message.